We look up to our apostle, our pastor, and all of those that have prayer over us. We thank you that you continue to keep us, you continue to lead us, you continue to guide us into all truth and unto all righteousness. We thank you that we're able to decrease, that you would increase, and that we would hear what thus saith the Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Give an honor to our shepherd mother. Amen. Our apostle in his absence. Amen. Our pastor in his absence. Our prophetess. All those. Honor to Mother White. Amen. And everyone. First order of business. Somebody need to come up here and get this lady. She'll be back here cutting up. She be back here cutting up, y'all don't know.
Pastor Mark.
Drop it down. Amen. Amen. So I think my brother set the record last week. Amen. He beat me. He got me. He got me with that one. That Mark is always the shortest book. Amen. Right to the point. Amen. Amen. I do have a brief word today, man, and we're going to continue and get you out of here. I got my ring on. Amen.
Badge of honor. Badge of honor.
One of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control.
That's right.
And
You said it wouldn't come out. Try
I
it.
know people that think it's a badge of honor to speak their mind. Tourette's is not a badge of honor. When you can't control your thoughts and just spit them out all the time, it's not a good thing. Sometimes it is a good thing to speak your mind in due time and in due season. Amen. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. My wife and my son is on the front row. Amen. You know, we live in a social media era where everyone has a comment for. And sometimes if you've ever seen something on social media and it rubs you wrong, you'll make a comment. And you'll get a reverse comment back, and then you're entangled. The Word of God says, be not entangled again in the yoke. Because I really want to say something about this ring. And guess what? Everybody's at a different point in their faith. Everybody's at a different point in their relationship. Everybody's at a different point in wherever they are. Amen. The Word of God says, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. Amen. I'll say this. How many rings I got? Y'all know I'm matchy. If I got on a green watch, I need a green ring. Amen. So forth and so on. I was sitting in the car and I said, oh my God, I don't believe I did that. What did I do? No, the ring is cool today.
It wasn't matching.
It wasn't matching what?
Which was wearing.
What I'm wearing? Red, no. I have gold buttons and all this silver jewelry on. Come on, y'all. Jesus. It should be gold jewelry with gold buttons. Right. Thank you. I'll tell you, I'll come get her. Keep it cutting up. Amen. Amen. I truly won't be before you long. What I'll say about the ring is, two things I noticed. You said when a male doesn't have on a ring, it allows for maybe an opportunity or someone to think. Right, you looking at, oh, he looks nice. He don't have a ring on. I'm gonna go step to him. How many women go to a man like, oh, hi? You do that?
I have.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I've had that done to me. But I've had it done to me more when I had a ring on. More with a ring on. Way more with a ring on. Guess what else? Guess what else? What? Get out my face. I say thank you. You right? Listen, John Jasper Booth Jr. is my father. Yes. Look. I tell my wife, you want to go out? Go out. If somebody don't crack on you, if somebody don't say you look good, if somebody don't say, hey, come here, then I got the wrong one. You better go out and look good. If we go out and you go to the bathroom, ain't nobody look at you on the way back? You change your outfit, your hair, your perfume, something. You're supposed to look good. It's self-control, fruit of the spirit. Guess when else I've had some of the most advances? When I had a collar on. I used to, me and Rasan I would call Rasan. He'd be like, yo, kid, this collar, something's wrong with this collar, kid. I'd be like, what you talking about? Man, I'd be like, yo, I stopped at the market on the way home, and it's like a magnet. We used to hate wearing them collars every first Sunday. It's no business. Let me ask you this. How many married women in here? How many people got on their ring? The women. Does that stop any man from getting in your face?
No.
Thank you. And now, listen. No. Listen. You're the apostle, but I have the floor. Amen. The ring is a symbol. It's really, guess what? It's really not a symbol for anyone but yourself. That's why it's attached to your heart. It's for you. It's for you. I've been times I don't wear a ring. I forget, or I just, whatever. It's not that I'm taking my marriage off. It's just I don't have a ring on. I know. I'm just putting other thoughts out there, and just other perspectives. Me and my wife was talking this morning. I was like, people that are in the Trump camp, they believe the rhetoric. It's not rhetoric to them. It's not rhetoric to them. You can't have a conversation with somebody till you understand what they think. You can't persuade someone out of darkness into the marvelous light if you don't even have an idea. Anybody ever been in darkness?
Amen.
Let me tell you something. I can't talk to nobody that's doing heroin. Because I have no idea. I have no idea. The furthest thing from a needle, I still run out the doctor's office when they pull out a needle. When I was young, they had to come outside down the street and get me to get a needle. I don't play that needle stuff. So how am I gonna give myself a needle? That must be a good high, I don't know. But I ain't having it with me. Amen? Oh, we're supposed to be doing this word, right? Amen.
That's not the rough.
I digress. Turn to Matthew 14. Amen. It is a badge of honor, but it's a badge of honor to you. You know marriage ain't respected. You know, come on. Matthew 14. And I had a whole nother word. I was supposed to be on this side, but somehow I'm on this side. Amen? So I'm not one of those. Yeah, that's it. I'm letting the Lord lead me with that. Amen? Because my whole, what I was trying to do was on this side. Amen? Amen. We're going to do a little traditional, we're going to take a passage. We're going to work with that passage. Amen? Matthew 14, and starting at verse 22. And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship and to go before him unto the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. What did he do? After he did what? Sent everybody away. So he was praying by himself. Whoa. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. What was he doing? Walking on the sea, walking on water, right? And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me to come unto thee on the water. And he said, What? Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him, and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were coming to the ship, the wind did what? Stopped. Then they that were in the ship came and worshiped him, saying, Of a truth thou art the Son of God. Amen. I want to talk more so about the storm than some of the other events, and we'll incorporate those and we'll be done in a minute. Anybody ever been through a storm? Anybody ever had plans and the storm came and took your plans? I'm not one that really like rain really affects me, and my saying is, well, we wasn't having a picnic. That's the one thing a storm will affect is your picnic. Amen? Amen. Being through a storm, I guess a storm in your life or a literal storm, it's usually not easy. Anybody ever been through a storm in their life, metaphorically speaking, and it's been easy? No? Okay. Is a storm necessary? Is a storm in your life necessary?
Yes.
So you think that you should have, a storm every quarter, every year, every 10 years? What is so necessary? I mean, you'll prune your plants and your trees, right? That's necessary. That's not really good for it's good for the tree, but the tree is a living organism. It may hurt. I don't know. But it's necessary, right? So if a storm is good in your life and it's necessary, how often should we have a storm? How often do you want a storm, Sister Ernie? You don't want a storm in your life? But it's necessary. It's one of those trick questions, right?
I'll take one every 5 years.
One every 5 years? I'll take one every February. Amen. But I do realize that it's necessary. It does what? It's going to make you grow. Amen. 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 So, storm is never an easy thing to go through. But let's go back to Peter. Why was Peter not with the disciples?
Because he needed to pray alone.
No, Jesus was praying alone. God told everybody to go, and he sent the multitudes away. So the multitudes were away, the disciples were on the ship, Jesus was alone. What was Peter doing? Huh?
Peter posed the question.
He posed the question. What question?
If it's you, maybe it comes. So he was.
But I'm saying, so he was on the shore.
No, he was in here with him.
So.
He was on the boat, but he was asking Jesus.
Right. Okay. Sometimes if it's not a storm, you'll never have to walk on water. Your faith will never be tested. I don't need my faith tested in certain areas, but if the storm comes, sometimes it has to be tested. Sometimes you got to test those rain boots. Everybody got the Hunter rain boots? Who got some Hunter rain boots? Oh, you ain't got no Hunter rain boots? How about this say you probably got 12 pairs? Who got rain boots in here? Who got Timberlands in here? When you put your rain boots and your Timberlands on, don't tell me it's just me. You don't find a puddle?
Yep.
You don't find a piece of snow and test them out and be like they really work. My foot's not wet. My foot's not covered in snow. You don't try it? Come on. When you put that rain jacket on and you go walk through the storm and you take off and you go, oh, I'm dry. It really works. Sometimes a storm will test you. I don't know who this is for. I don't know who's going through something. I don't know what's coming down the road. But that storm will accelerate your faith. Because without the storm, you won't try it. You won't try God in that place, in that area of your life. I don't wish the storm on you. I really don't. I really don't wish the storm on myself. But as Apostle Diane said, it'll make you grow. It'll let you know that God is real.
Yes.
In an area that you may have not tried him before. Anybody ever been healed? Like, sure enough, Noah was God that healed you without a shadow of a doubt. Most things, guess what? Hear me by the Spirit. If you never prayed and you gave it a week to 10 days, you might be okay anyway. Anybody ever had a cold? Anybody ever took some NyQuil, Dayquil, vitamin C, Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus, Newton's cough drops? Anybody remember, was it Father John's cough drops? Me too. Amen. But at that point when I didn't pray, and the cold went away. So it's not by the Spirit, hear me, not necessarily that God healed me, it just ran its course. But I'm talking about something that you know, sure enough, that God healed you. Amen. So when I went to Africa, I got sick. And I was dying by my account. Amen. And I remember the team went out, went to the mission field. I was in the room, on the toilet, on my knees on the toilet, sitting on the toilet, laying on the bathroom floor. I was going through. And the team came back, and I had the chills, and it's hot in Africa. I'm like, why am I cold? And I remember one night I was in the room with Prophet Copeland, and I was going back and forth to the bathroom, and I was in the bed. You ever had that stomach thing, and you just, oh. And he woke up. Anybody know me? Anybody ever hear me play music? Anybody ever hear me play gospel music? I don't play too much gospel music. A couple of songs. He cut on his gospel music. I was like, listen, dude. Put on some KRS-One, some Rakim, some Earth, Wind and Fire, something. I was like, and he put on his gospel music, but I was sick. Somebody say sick.
Sick.
And I wasn't, I thought I was about to go home. And he started praying. And I was like, dude, I don't even want to do the church stuff right now. I'm sick. I'm hurt. I don't want to hear the gospel music. I don't even want you to pray. And he was like, no, come here. And he started praying. It was me and him in the room. And he started worshiping God for me and my healing. And I was like, no. I gotta go poop right now. I don't want to do that. And he wouldn't let me move. And when I tell you, as sure as I'm standing here today, in about 3 to 4 minutes, my stomach felt good. The stuff coming out of both ends stopped. The chills went away. And I was resisting. And I was like, now listen though, this was the first time I was saved. I've spoken in tongues already. I've been to Israel. Amen. I've been to the Sermon on the Mount. I've been in the grave. I've been all this stuff. I've done preached. I've done been in the prison. I done did a lot of things. But until that storm came, I never understood healing. I never understood. Jesus said, Peter, what? Ye of what? A little faith. How many people agree with that? You don't agree with Jesus? How many people agree that he was of little faith? Jesus said it, so I agree with it.
Yeah.
But if he's of little faith, how many steps have you taken on water? You walked on water before? No? Did you try? You never went to a pool and was like, you just tried to walk on the water in 3 feet? In 1 foot?
1 foot, yeah.
Kiddie pool? You tried it? Did it work? No. I mean, how many people, if you just was like just praying in the spirit and you check out like a home and you think you could walk on water tomorrow? I do. I think you can. It's proven that you can. It's proven that you can. Jesus was a man. A full-on man, full-on God. Peter was what? A man. Does it say how many steps he took?
No.
Does it say how far he got? If he took 1 step or 100 steps, is that amazing?
Yes.
How many steps have you taken on water? How many times have you asked God, bid me to come? Which it may not be walking on water. It may be like, bid me to keep these lights on.
Yes.
Which may be equivalent to walking on water for you. Bid me to get out of jail. Bid me not to die. And if we go back, as soon as he asked, what did Jesus say? He said, come. When that storm happens, when you're testing your faith and you're walking it out through fear and through trembling, and Jesus asks you to come, you may have taken a spiritual 20 steps on water. And guess what? I don't know about you. Anybody ever been out to sea? Anybody ever had a boat route? Anybody ever get this little rain? And all you can see all the way around is water? Is it a little scary? It can be a little, and your equilibrium get off, and your mind starts to go, but we always be like, oh, Peter was a little faith. Peter doubted. But Peter walked on water. Peter walked on water. I don't care if he took 1 step. He did that 1 step in faith. And when he asked God, God said, come. And as soon as he fell, What did God do? Let me find. I'm going to read that one. It says in 31, and immediately God stretched forth his hand and caught him. Immediately. Immediately, Pastor. Right away. So two things I learned from this passage. If I say, God, allow me to do this in your will, in your way, I think I can do it. All the way up to walking on water. And if while I'm walking on the water, which is by all accounts impossible, while I'm doing the impossible, if I stumble, if I fall, if the wind gets too much, if the rain gets too much, even if my faith moves, and then at that point I say, oh wait, I'm drowning, he's going to pick me up immediately and bring me where? Right in the boat, right where I want to be anyway. It's a safety. Immediately. Here's the other thing. 32. And when they had come into the ship, the wind ceased. As soon as I do the impossible, as soon as God comes and grabs my hand, storm stops.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Storm is over. It's a wrap. I'm in a multitude of safety. I'm with God. And the storm is over. Immediately. The storm will make you step out on faith. Key word is what? Step out. On faith. On water sometimes. Amen? Amen. Listen, some people pray for stuff and I'll be like, why are you praying? Like, that don't make sense. Like, you didn't pay the bill. Like, why are you paying for PGW to, like, line up with your foolishness? Not out of you can't or whatever, but like, I just didn't think, oh, keep my lights off. But that's between you and God. And if God wants to move, God wants to show you something at that point. But I know God is able. I know God is willing. I know God is all powerful. I know God is omnipotent. I know God is omnipotent. I know God is able to allow me, if I need to walk on water. And that walking on water could be a parable or lost my word. But it can be not literal, but it could be walking on water in the spirit through a situation. Amen. As Diane or Apostle Diane mentioned something about learning or you learn from your storm, or you get stronger from your storm. Amen. Listen, I can go to the gym. I can do a lot of things to get strong. I don't need something bad in my life to make me stronger, amen? I don't want something bad in my life to make me stronger. But as honest as I am with myself, I know that things happen. Amen? And I know the things that have happened that have made me stronger. And of course I appreciate that. Will I go back and change them? No. No. I thank God for everything that has transpired in my life. Everything. Everything. Amen? I wish I wouldn't have eaten some of that cake I eat. Some of those things. I wish I would have kept some of my, it's worth millions of dollars now, I threw away. But those real things, yeah. Definitely. Amen. Everybody stand, please. The storm, when the storm comes, sometimes you gotta stand at your window and look out at the storm. When it's raining, when it's snowing. If you ever on social media and it snows, what do you see? I see all these pictures of people taking like their hedges perfectly covered in snow, the street before the plow comes, and it actually looks nice. It looks beautiful, but it's a storm and it's inconvenient. And you know, I don't know about y'all, but I gotta go to work. Told you I had to go to work in a hurricane by myself. My boss called and said, I need you to check on the office. I said, but it's a hurricane. You know how people be in the movies when like they go get shot, they be like, oh, I'm kidding, I got nobody. I was like, but I got. He's like, I need you to check on the office. And my whole picture was him in a robe with some hot chocolate. Like, I need you to check on the office. Amen. Bless him. Amen. Sometimes the storm will stretch you, and the storm will propel you. I know from that sickness in Africa, without a shadow of a doubt. See, we all say some things, we all believe some things. Sometimes they're not the same. Sometimes you can quote a scripture out of memory and it don't mean nothing to you until you actually go through it, until you live it. I can talk to somebody that use certain drugs that I use. I understand. I get it. I know it. I know the feeling. I know the good feeling, the bad feeling. I know the cost. I know this. I know that. That heroin thing. I'm gonna call somebody to talk to. I don't know. I don't get it. Needle. I was just the needle gets me. Man. But I know after that time in Africa, that God is a healer. And I've said he was a healer 100 times before that. I prayed for people's healing 100 times before that. But until I actually got healed by God, it's just the reality, the realness, the effectiveness of the prayer now is totally different. Totally different. Totally different. Anybody needs touching agreement, prayer for any